Dear students, welcome to my channel HSC English version tutorials. Look at these board questions. In our first tutorial, Accounting First Paper Chapter 1, Part 1, we learned how to determine the amount of opening capital. Today, we will learn how to show the effects on accounting equation of the transactions in a tabular form. See, this is a tabular form. This column is for date and serial number. Here we will write the year, and below the year we will write date with month. This row is for assets and these are the columns for assets. According to the stem, the number of these assets column can be more or less. We will write here an equal sign. This row is for liability and this is the column of these liabilities. According to the stem, the number of column of these liabilities can be more. Here we will write this plus sign, as we know that this assets equals this liability plus this owner's equity. This column is for owner's equity. In this column we will write comments. Note that for every transaction we don't need to write comments here in this column. We will write the comments only on those transactions that are related to this owner's equity. Look at this cash column. We will have to start writing here along with date. We will not start writing here along with year. Another important information is that any event that has no effects on accounting equation, that means non-transaction event, cannot be counted here in this tabular form. We will have to avoid those non-transaction events. In our previous tutorial, Accounting First Paper Chapter 1, Part 1, we learned two tricks. Those two tricks will help us to show the effects on accounting equation of the transaction in this tabular form. Look at this question now. See, Mr. Mamun started his legal practice business to bring cash taka 1 lakh and a computer of taka 50,000 on 1st January 2016. In this column, we will write 2016 here and January 1st here like this. See, to start a business, Mr. Mamun brought cash taka 1 lakh and computer of taka 50,000. Now tell me, how many accounts are there in this transaction? There are 3 accounts here: cash account, office equipment account and capital account. Cash is the element of these assets. I have already written the name of this column as cash because this cash column is fixed. Without any investment, one cannot run a new business. To run a new business, cash is needed. That is why this cash column is a must. So I have written this column from the very beginning. Office equipment is also the element of these assets. So the name of this column will be office equipment. That is why we will write here equipment like this. Capital is the element of this owner's equity. So we will write capital in this column. As this cash is the element of these assets, this office equipment is the element of these assets, and this capital is the element of this owner's equity. Therefore, for this transaction, both this left hand side and right hand side of this equation will be changed. That means we will have to apply here trick 1. What was the trick? Either both sides of the equation will be plus or both sides of the equation will be minus. Now tell me, for bringing cash and office equipment, will these assets be increased or decreased? Certainly, these assets will be increased. That means this amount of taka 1 lakh and this amount of taka 50,000 will be plus here in this left hand side. If so, this 1 lakh taka and this 50,000 taka That is 1,50,000 taka will automatically be plus here in this right hand side as capital. Therefore, we can write here in this cash column taka 1 lakh, in this office equipment column taka 50,000, and in this capital column taka 1,50,000. See, this capital is related to this owner's equity. Therefore, we will write here in this comment column bringing capital. Now we will draw a line like this so that we can write the balance of this date like this. Look at this event on January 2. Appointing a manager for monthly salary of taka 15,000. Tell me, for appointing a manager, will these assets, liabilities or owner's equity be increased or decreased? No, they will neither be increased nor be decreased. That's why this event is a non-transaction event. Therefore, we will not count this event to show here in this tabular form. Now, look at this transaction on January 8. Purchase furniture on credit taka 30,000. We will write here January 8 first in this column. Can you tell me how many accounts are there in this transaction? 2 accounts, furniture account and payable account. Furniture is the element of these assets. So, the name of the column will be furniture. Accounts payable is the element of these liabilities. So, the name of this column will be accounts payable. As furniture is the element of these assets and accounts payable is the element of this liability, therefore, for this transaction, both this left hand side and right hand side of this equation will be changed. That means we will have to apply here trick 1 again. Now tell me, for purchasing furniture, will these assets be increased or decreased? Certainly, assets will be increased. That means these 30,000 taka will be plus here in this left hand side. Therefore, automatically this 30,000 taka will be plus here in this right hand side. This transaction does not have any relation to this owner's equity. So, we will not write any comment here in this comment column. Now, we will draw a line like this again and write the balance like this. Look at this transaction on January 12. Legal services provided to the clients for cash taka 25,000. Do remember, whenever we will get the transaction service provided in the stem, we will always have to think that providing service is an income, whether it is on cash or on credit. We will write the date January 12 here. Now tell me, for this transaction, how many accounts can we get? 2 accounts, cash account and revenue account. Cash is the element of these assets. Already we have this cash column here from before. Revenue is the element of this owner's equity. We have this column also from before. See, for this transaction, again this left hand side and this right hand side will be changed. For this cash account, will these assets be increased or decreased? Obviously, assets will be increased. That means this 25,000 taka will be plus in this cash column. Therefore, automatically this 25,000 taka will also be plus here in this capital column. As this transaction has a relation with this owner's equity, therefore we will write a comment here in this comment column, and that is revenue. Now again we will have to draw this line to show the balance. Look at this transaction on the date of January 18. Legal service provided to the clients on account taka 30,000. Here on account means on credit. We will write this date here in this column. Tell me, how many accounts may we get from this transaction? 2 accounts, receivable account and revenue account. Receivable account is the element of these assets. So we will have to write receivable in this assets column like this. Revenue is the element of this owner's equity, and we have already this column here from before. See, for this transaction, again both sides of this equation will be changed. Now tell me, for this account receivable, will the assets be increased or decreased? Obviously, assets will be increased. So, this 30,000 taka will be plus here in this column, and this 30,000 taka will be plus here in this capital column automatically. As this transaction has a connection with this owner's equity, therefore we will write income in this comment column. Again, we will draw a line like this and write the balance like this. Look at this transaction on the date of January 30. Paid office rent for the month of January, taka 12,000. We will write this date here in this column. How many accounts may we get from this transaction? 2 accounts, cash account and rent account. Cash is the element of these assets. As rent is an expense, therefore rent is the element of this owner's equity. See, both sides of the equation will be changed here for this transaction again. Now tell me, for this rent expense, will this capital be increased or decreased? Certainly, this capital will be decreased. So we will write this 12,000 taka here in this column within a bracket. As we have already got minus here in this right hand side for one account, then the other account, that is cash account, also will be minus here in this left hand side. So we can write 12,000 taka here in this cash column within a bracket like this. Again, we will draw a line like this and write the balance like this. Look at this transaction on the date of 31st January. Purchase furniture taka 20,000. We will write January 31st here like this. Now tell me, how many accounts may we get from this transaction? 2 accounts, cash account and furniture account. Cash is the element of these assets and furniture is the element of these assets also. Purchase is an expense, but this expense is the expense of the company. This expense has no relation to owner's equity. See, here only this left hand side will be changed. What should we do now? We will have to apply here trick 2. That means if we get any one of these 2 accounts as plus in this left hand side, then the other account will be minus in this left hand side. Or if we get any account of these 2 accounts as minus in this left hand side, then the other account will be plus in this left hand side. Same process is also applicable for right hand side. Now tell me, for purchasing furniture, will these assets be increased or decreased? Certainly increased. So we can write this 20,000 taka here in this column as plus. We have got one account plus here for one-sided change. Automatically, the other account, that is the cash account, will be minus in this particular side. So we can write here in this cash column 20,000 taka within a bracket. Finally, we will draw this line and write the balance of left hand side and right hand side. Look at this transaction of January 30. As this transaction has a connection with this owner's equity and this rent is an expense, therefore we will write expense in this comment column. Now look at this transaction of 31st January. This transaction does not have any connection with this owner's equity. Therefore, we will not write any comment in this comment column. We still have one last task to do. We have to check whether the two amounts on left hand side and right hand side are equal. We will draw a line like this. The total amount of left hand side is 2,23,000 taka and the total amount of right hand side is 2,23,000 taka. See, Both sides of this equation are equal. Last of all, we will have to close the accounts like this. If you like this channel, please don't forget to press the bell icon so that you can get all the new updates. Thanks for watching this tutorial.